Hi, guys. Welcome to our live today. And today I am coming up with a topic where I am telling you how your upbringing, the way you have been brought up, how that has impacted your relationship. And this is not to blame parents for it because parents always do their best. And if you ask me, then I personally believe that parents are a form of God, and God cannot come to earth, so he sent parents. Okay, so this is not to blame on the parents, but this is to bring to your notice that if you or your partner are behaving in a certain way in your relationship, that is where it is coming from. I will also let you know how to rectify that. And then it is so important for you because your children are now getting impacted by the way you are responding to your partner. And then you can know what kind of relationships they are going to have if this is what continues. Okay. And for that, I will be referring to my notes because a lot of research has been done on this, and I am coming up with just the summary. Therefore, I'm going to be referring to my notes. Now, this research was done by Dr. Millen and Kay Yakovic. Okay. You must have heard of coping styles, right? How people cope up in difficult situations, how people cope up with regards to their age. You have also heard about love maps. Okay. Now, this research is called you having your own love styles, and these styles are based on your experiences of upbringing. Now, imagine a child who has been brought up by parents who have been very, say, um, very angry parents. Okay, so if the child has been brought up by angry parents where both mother and father were angry, or even if one was angry, this child ends up becoming a people pleaser. Why? Because he thinks or she thinks that I cannot afford to have my parents shouting at me. Afford in the sense, I don't like my parents shouting at me. So therefore, what this child will do is this child will do everything to please his parents so that he does not get scolded. Correct? As a result of which, when this child is growing up, whether a boy or a girl, when he is growing up, his all his efforts, all his energy, all his time goes in pleasing others, and he is not concerned about what he needs. He is only concerned about what others need and how can I fulfill their needs. So when this child grows up and gets married, in his or her relationships, he or she will end up pleasing the partner all the time. And when you are pleasing your partner all the time, you are placing yourself to be at the second position and the other person as first. Therefore, you are always getting treated as a second priority, not the first. Okay. Now, people like these need to understand that they need to know and realize that they have their own needs, they have their own desires, and they got to learn to stand up to fulfill their own desires first, to fulfill their own needs first, rather than doing it for others. Okay, these people are called people pleasers because they are being brought up by angry parents. Okay, then there are people who are victims, right? Now, these people are called victims because, I mean, I'm not tagging them, don't misunderstand me for that. But victims would mean that they were brought up by fighting parents. These parents were always fighting with each other, pointing fingers at each other. So, as a child, this child experienced the fear that just as they are pointing fingers at each other and then shouting and fighting, they will point fingers at me also, and then the fight or the argument will begin with me as well. So there is a lot of fear in this child, the fear of being victimized. Okay, now When the child is being brought up with the fear of being victimized, he tries or she tries to always protect himself or protect herself. Now when these children grow up and have they get into relationships, they will go with the flow. They will want to be the yes person, for the fear that if they do not become the yes person, then they are likely to get victimized. But you know what happens? This fear of being victimized, they are carrying this fear all the time, as a result of which they attract their partners who will be controlling them, because control is a kind of a victimization, right? So when they have that fear that I am going to be victimized, they attract those partners, they attract those situations where they are actually being victimized. Okay, now these are the people who need to stand up and show some self love. They got to take care of themselves in terms of working on that fear, which means healing themselves of that fear of being victimized. Okay, so this is, if they want to have good relationships, then they need to work on the fear of being victimized. So I'm telling you the very basics, I'm not getting into the detailed research. Now there are third kind of people who are called controllers. They, in your relationship you might have experienced that either your partner is controlling or you are controlling, right? Now you become controlling because you have been again brought up by people, by parents who did not have a very good relationship with each other. They did not express love to each other because that love was never there. So in this child's life there was no love between parents. Okay, and he saw that both his parents were getting hurt at some points in time or the other. Either mother was hurt or father was hurt. So he's been experiencing hurt kind of a scenario with his parents in his upbringing. Now this child also has been experiencing hurt, because as a child, when you see your parents getting hurt, you don't feel good about it, you also feel hurt. So this child has been witnessing hurt, this child has been experiencing hurt. Now when this child experiences hurt and witnesses hurt, what do you think is going to be his natural tendency? That child's natural tendency is going to be to protect himself from further hurt. Hmm? Now when he grows up and he gets into relationships, his primary aim in the relationships is to protect himself from hurt. Now what is the best way he thinks is to protect himself from hurt? This person begins to use anger, because when you get very angry and for every small thing you shout, you will stop people from approaching you, right? So because this person has been hurt so many number of times, that person has built a wall to ensure that he doesn't get any hurt anymore, and therefore the anger. So you will see either you are losing a lot of temper or your partner is losing temper, which means you're trying to protect yourself from hurt. Now when these people get into relationships, anger is what dominates them, and hence the other partner starts to drift off. Now, the way forward for these people is again to, number one, work on the past hurts, right? One is to work on the past hurts, and two is to develop that, faith that interaction with the other person is not about hurt all the time. It can be about lot many things. It can be about trust, it can be about love, it can be about just sharing and having some fun. So this person needs to understand that, while at the same time working on the past hurts. Okay, then there is a fourth category. Now this fourth category is called vacillator. Vacillator means this child has been brought up by unpredictable parents. Either both parents were unpredictable, or their interaction, the way they interacted was unpredictable, or one of the parents was unpredictable, which means that, suppose, say, mother has been very nice, very affectionate, very loving, cuddling, joyous, jumping, and next moment she is shouting, she's howling, she's throwing away things, she's scolding the child, throwing the books, because child is not studying. That's unpredictability. Similarly with the father, the same thing can happen with the father. Same thing can happen, where the child sees the relationship as unpredictable. So one day parents are very happy, they are going along very well, nice vacations, everything, and at the other moment he sees that there is fight going on, there are abuses, either mother or father is threatening to leave. So he has been brought up with so much of unpredictability. Now when the child has experienced unpredictability, he loses faith in love, because for that child, even love is unpredictable. Now you might see that your partner is very loving in some moments, some days, sometimes, but on the other hand, you will see that the partner is completely turned around. It appears as if there is no love. Okay, now that is unpredictability. So these children, when they get married and when they get into relationships, they are not able to trust their partner with love. Now your partner may be loving, to any extent, but that trust in the love is not there. Okay, now this is not to say this is a blame, no, this is to say that when you become aware of these things, you will know what to work on, and then accordingly you can work on the relationship as well. Okay, so these people are called vacillators, because they can't be, they're always doubting love. Okay, because of the unpredictability of the parents' behaviors. And the last category is called avoiders. Avoiders is where both parents have been working, and it is not to say both parents working is a wrong thing, but in that process of both parents working, they have trained the child to be independent enough from a very young age, because both are working. So their intention was that the child manages his or her work by himself or by herself. So they start to train the child from a very young age. Now the child does get into learning these things, managing himself. He learns very well. But when he grows up and gets into the relationship, what's the impact it has? The child has become so self independent that he doesn't feel that he needs to depend on partner for anything. Okay, but such people also become anxious as they grow up, because they are focused more on taking care of their needs, thinking that nobody else will take care of their needs, in terms of nobody's going to support them. So their anxiety is around taking care of their own needs. As a result, these people are highly stressed. There is a lot of anxiety in them, there is a lot of stress in them, because they are not able to trust anybody. They cannot even trust their partners, that this person can help me, this person can support me, this person is my better half. They are not able to trust that, and they think that they are the only ones for them, their own selves. So when they are in the relationship and this happens, you tend to feel that your partner is not loving enough. And that is because all that attention isn't satisfying his or her needs. And for even this category, also, what is needed is lots and lots of self love. So, apart from healing the past hurts, that person also needs to work on self love. So, bottom line, if you see all the categories, you will see there is lot of healing required with regards to the hurts, the wounds, the emotions that you have experienced in your upbringing by your parents, right? So bottom line is to heal. Another factor is the self love, and third factor is to build trust in your own self first, and then to build the trust in the relationship, knowing that the other person still loves you. Okay, these are the three things that need to be worked on across all these five categories. Now, when you're listening to this video, your attention must be going to, in terms of these definitions, how your partner is, right? Whichever way your partner is, that's one thing. I wanted to focus on which category do you belong to? Where are you coming from? Are you coming from the place of being a vacillator, avoider, victim, people pleaser, or there is one more, controller? Okay, and if that is the place you're coming from, then you've got to work on your three factors, which is working on your hurts, wounds, past emotions, building trust, and trust in yourself, and building self-love. Okay, so focus on what you need to do instead of tagging what your partner is or how your partner is, because that is not going to help. Okay, first focus on yourself, and keep in mind that if you are one of these, maybe a combination of two, maybe a combination of all five, then this is how even your children are going to be. So you can easily and very well predict how your children's relationship is going to be, right? And then most of the women stay in their marriage thinking that child needs the father, which is good. Yes, child needs the father, but then if your upbringing styles are one of these, then you know what the impact is. Okay, so if you want help, you will definitely need help in this. And if you need help, then we are there to help you out on this. The link is given below in the description box. Click on that link, and I will understand from you what kind of situation yours is with respect to these parameters, and what is the way forward. Because if you knew the way forward, you would have done the necessary things. So what is that way forward for you, and what are those challenges because of which you have not been able to move in that direction, even though you know what the way forward is. Okay, so click on that description and I will call you. And yes, if you're watching this on YouTube, then remember to like and subscribe and share with anybody who you think will need this. Okay, uh, that's it from me to you today. And should you have any questions, please feel free to write. Thank you so much for the viewers who are here on live at this time. And those who are watching this later, thank you for watching this. And I'm going to be seeing you tomorrow, same time, 3:30. Thank you so much. You take care and have a great life. Bye.